and committee members, and our other experts, resource persons, and officials involved in APEC. For this, we should thank in particular our APEC SOM Chairman, Undersecretary during the whole of 1996. APEC is working well as a focus for regional consultation and joint effort for liberalization and facilitation in both trade and investments, as well as in economic and technical cooperation. Second, these three areas facilitating in our Manila Action Plan for APEC 1996. These documents have been made available. For their part, the private sector produced a comprehensive report with substantive recommendations, and the private sector, which after all is the region, by balancing all years. And fifth, we considered
蒋主席和克林顿总统在马尼拉的会晤毫无异议是一个重要的。
这么强大的一些对手，像是中共啊，或者是
也特别借这种自由化的机会，共同来努力，创造一个更自由化、国际化的良好的环境。
I wonder if I could ask if ministers from those delegations to eliminate totally tariffs on IT products by the year 2000.
Relate to the question you just asked, and these are paragraphs 31 and 32. It says ministers, and I quote, ministers welcome initiatives to pursue freer and non-discriminatory trade in goods and services. In recognizing the importance of the information technology sector in world trade, ministers endorse the efforts of the WTO to conclude an information technology agreement by the Singapore Ministerial Conference and urge all other members of the WTO to work toward that end. I read paragraph 32. Ministers stress the importance of the WTO as a dynamic forum to play a central role in ensuring that the multilateral trading system continues to respond to developments in the world economy. They also consider the essential that the many existing and emerging regional trade agreements be consistent with the WTO and look forward to the work of the Committee on Regional Trade Agreements. Ministers encourage the acceleration of the substantive negotiations on protocol issues and market access with a view to achieving universality of WTO membership. Unquote. Thank you.
For some reason, in the very important Lead Summit, we used the very important occasion to reach the order. Thank you very much.
问题过去从西雅图市马尼拉的会议，过去我们一直在请求是李总统他是一个这个地区的繁荣。
Made this in APEC, a certain working, of course, decisions on this are taken on the basis of consensus. Thank you very much.
我是来自台湾的媒体，我是中视记者王正慧。我想请教一下这个台湾的代表张炳坤先生，我想请问一下，就是说我们台湾一直希望能够在 APEC 领域里面呢。
我想补充的台北作为不是主权国家，只是一个地区经济。
来说一下，我们在过去了解大港行动纲领所做。那这方面，中华台北以及全世界的国家能够享受这样的国家在发展中小企业，我相信很大的贡献。那么我也不的。
对于麻烦请中华台北的交期，那这个营运中心的目标跟 APEC 所极力推。
在里边之外，最重要的部分就是在亚太中心推动的过程当中相辅相成，也跟我们参加世界贸易中国在行动计划里面。
随着中国改革开放的进行和中国经济的大幅度的 这个关税战，让外资银行通过适当的办法可以。
Please limit yourselves to APEC related issues.
我想可以回答一下，美国政府的发言人已经否认了。
I have two questions. First of all, you mentioned several times about consensus.
We have all these principles, flexibility, etc. And in fact, in ASEAN itself, we go by consensus. And we have demonstrated that for the last 29 years, it has worked very well. Now, of course, the process of AFTA and CEPT, the progress of this concept in ASEAN will be, of course, highly strengthened if the other economies in APEC could adopt the same approach. That means make offers, but MFN. Thank you.
My name is Rano.
What I did say is that if there is work being done now, and of course there is work being done now towards having ITA in the WTO, then those negotiations must take into account the request from some countries, including Malaysia, for flexibility, such as in the area of time frame for making the tariff cuts and also product coverage. That was all. EC round 5 may not be running around, but it's there. We have programs based on the East Asia format. Accession for Chinese Taipei as well as for the PRC. Of course, this process is not merely a bilateral one, but it involves all of those WTO members, which are principal trading partners of countries that wish to accede. We are pleased to say that negotiations are proceeding with respect to those countries and also with respect to the 29 additional countries whose accessions are pending, including Russia, the former Soviet republics, and Saudi Arabia.
Secretary of Trade and Industry, Cesar Bautista. Thank you.
The Economic and Technical Cooperation is a standalone document. You will have a copy of that available to you very soon. But I would like to emphasize that this document has been approved in total. However, there are many activities going on there, and some will start soon, some will start perhaps after some months, so far the studies. But there is no question about the fact that the whole document, which consists of 300 and some projects, 320 projects, I think, will be adopted as approved by the ministers.
To allow all APEC members into the WTO, especially China.
Ambassador Barshevsky answered it precisely in a most effective way. We support the accession of not only China and Chinese Taipei, but the other 29 countries to the WTO under the appropriate proper circumstances, and with the, of course, consensus of all the other members of the WTO. It is a process which we adhere to and respect, and will continue to work with our trading partners in order to meet its dictates. On the ITA, we think the language of endorsement is not only adequate but helpful, as well as supportive, and takes the next step towards an ITA at the Singapore Ministerial. We're delighted with the result.
改革开放的一个非常成功的经验，就是我们遵循着循序渐进的这样一个原则。那么我们一般的做法就是通过试点来进行。刚才我已经讲过了，我们正在研究使这个外。
Yes, please. Yes.
Well, I'm not going to discuss the time frames of that here, but suffice to say that Malaysia has already removed tariffs on about 60% of our telecommunications products. So as far as we're concerned, moving to liberalization and giving more market access is not a problem. We're talking about principles here. Secondly, we're not going to discuss bilateral issues. I'm going to answer that question. All we did was we endorsed the work that's been done in the WTO towards having an information technology agreement. And certainly all the work that needs to be done will be continued in Geneva.
Okay, last two questions.
question is there a structural really other regional organization it can also recommend? My second question is posed as secretary.
I think Secretary Christopher will have the first shot. That's an interesting question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's nice to come to a press conference where you don't have to answer all the questions, but I will take a shot at these two. I do not know who my successor will be. President Clinton is reflecting on that subject, and I expect he will decide sometime between now and the end of the year. But on the other question, I think I can assure you that my successor will reflect the President's determination that the United States play a very important role in APEC and in the other Asia-Pacific organizations. One of the hallmarks, one of the signatures of President Clinton's first 4 years has been an emphasis on Asia, reflecting the importance that Asia has to the United States in many ways, economically, politically, environmentally. And so I'm sure that my successor will reflect the President's views and will continue to take a very active interest in APEC and its various other outreaches. Thank you very much.
On the question of the structure of the world trade, and we are very large economies, and of course, most of them, the greater majority of the economies are members of the WTO. And as indicated in the joint statement, we are encouraging the early accession and negotiations of other economies into the WTO as members.
Dalam laporan CPI disebutkan sesudah tahun 2010 terdapat begitu atau dibutuhkan begitu banyak dana.
I think that we'll leave that to that question. First, maybe the question in Indonesia, maybe
I will answer in Indonesian. Memang dirasakan keperluan infrastruktur itu besar sekali dan dalam rapat ini disepakati seperti Jepang dan seluruh beberapa anggota untuk adanya pembicaraan bersama dalam rangka pembiayaan untuk membiayai infrastruktur khususnya untuk sektor swasta di Asia Pasifik. The question was raised about the financing of the infrastructure which are needed for the regions, which needs to take note. That's why we also have agreements that dialogue will be organized between consortium of export agency and the regions for the possibility of assisting the private sector in developing the infrastructure requirements needed in the region. Thank you.
1997, when sovereignty changes from the United Kingdom to the People's Republic of China. If my understanding of the question is correct, then the answer is Hong Kong will remain a full and equal member of APEC after 1st of July 1997 under the name China, Hong Kong.
Thank you very much, and we would like to thank all the ministers for their attendance in this early